Hello everyone, welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc. and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc. and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc. and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need. Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off their package purchases and make money off of their crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching, and hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel, as you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day. How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys having a great and exceptional day. Let me make sure that my audio is good. Of course, my computer wants to act a little fuzzy, so give me a second, family. Okay, cool. They're just a little slow, but the audio is on point. Okay, cool. All right. Anyway, so today I'm gonna be talking about Mr. Good Old Albert Chalky White. This was a character on one of the best shows that was out, known as Boardwalk Empire. I think that show's been off the air probably almost 10 years now. But I always call it was like one of those great shows back in HBO's heyday. You know, it told a good story yet entertaining story all at the same time, based back in the early to mid 1900s in the United States of America, after America underwent their first World War. It's a great cast of characters on the show from beginning to the end. But one of my favorite characters was, and rest in peace to Michael Kenneth Williams, who played Albert Chalky White, aka just Chalky White or just Chalky. Because he was on there from season 1 through season 5. Now, I'm going to explain who Chalky White's character was, and then how it's actually related to today's world, and how people have to act accordingly, especially in the African American community. So, or Black community, or whatever that you want to call yourselves. I don't get into these online nonsense arguments anymore. It still baffles my mind that grown people, especially grown men, love to argue about minute things and never argue about how to make some money. But I digress. So anyways, Chalky was a racketeer and unofficial leader of the African American community in the Atlantic City, New Jersey area. And back then, during the segregation period, African Americans had, because of no choice, had more of a tight knit community in the sense of having their own businesses, looking out for each other more, because they were forced to live in the same neighborhoods. There was more sense of community and harmony. Had criminals just like any other neighborhood or community does, but there was more of a sense of that. And because of that, people were able to, when they were allowed to buy real estate, they was able to pass more real estate down. They was able to hand businesses down, skill sets, skill trades, and things of that nature, and all that great stuff. So, says that the character Chalky White was shown fiercely loyal to Nucky Thompson despite their occasional differences. And that's that. And before I even go forward, number one, that's the beautiful thing about this character. Chalky White knew how to make money moves and make business deals during a time where a Black man could be lynched for no reason, and people could get away with it. Okay. And he was able to own a multitude of businesses, whether they were legal or illegal, and he couldn't even read. That was the thing, because the literacy rate in America, especially unfortunately with a lot within the Black community, wasn't as good as it is now. Especially, you really didn't have as widespread of an institutionalized public school system back then, because his character was born and raised in Elkin, Texas. And he was the son of a talented carpenter, and I believe his father had a reputation, hired him to build a massive decorated bookcases and a new home, and all that great stuff. And then I think at one time his dad got killed because they said that because he was taking too much work away from white carpenters within the town of Texas. They didn't like, and the white carpenters at the time did not like the competition. And anyways, and because of that, Chalky's father took him out of town, hand him, and they hanged his father on a pepper tree. So Chalky claims that it was the 6 men who did it. If accurate, they could imply that the young Chalky was present when his father was killed. So anyways, and his father-in-law disapproved of him at first, believing him to be a no account because of where he was from and because he worked as a storefront employee. And he claimed that Chalky was half Apache to disparage him and all that good stuff. But Chalky proved himself dependable by helping his future father-in-law out when he ran into some financial trouble or some other trouble. And that's when he changed his mind about him marrying his daughter and all that good stuff. But anyways, so Chalky was a numbers runner. He ran nightclubs, restaurants, things of that nature. So, and that's, quote unquote, he was a part of organized crime, but and back then organized crime was much more larger, in the early 19 and mid 1900s around the United States compared to now. Especially a lot of the, the smart crime bosses got out of the illegal businesses and turned their drug money into illegal money, or whatever illegal money into legal money. A laws. But the one thing I want people to take away from Chalky White's character is that he was, because of his background and because of him living in the dangerous situations that he lived in. That's why I always admire my grandparents and great grandparents generation and the generation before them, because regardless of whatever was put in front of them, they were going to do their darndest to work through it. They were going to make more sacrifices than anyone you could ever imagine, especially to today. And that sense of family and community was very important, not just because out of love, but out of necessity and whatnot. I always say, you see a lot of people, especially you've had generations of immigrants from all over the world who've made a lot of money moves, either sometimes because they were given some money when they first got here, but in a lot of or they came with money when they came to the United States of America or other Western nations. But then the other beautiful thing is togetherness, community, sticking together, and not just getting together to have fun and go to church. That goes a long way. Getting together, talking about how you can how the family or families can combine the resources together, have 3 to 4 families living up in one house for a couple of years, and that way you're able to save a lot of money. And then of course, if people can make repairs in the house if something goes wrong, that saves you a lot of money because you're just buying the materials and using your own labor. These things work. Or you have a friend or another family member that does this and will do it for free, or do it for a cheaper price. And then not everybody in the house that has a car, so then people are driving each other around and things of that nature. So that saves time. That saves money on cars, car payments, maintenance, taxes, and car insurance and things of that nature, gas, all that great stuff. But at the end of the day, moral of the story is, I say that we're living the days of Chalky White, because people that, when I was talking to a parent about this yesterday, people who do not, because they're having some issues with their one of their kids, and they I was telling them, look, nobody really has any time anymore to just play around. Nobody has any time anymore to just be on social media and trying to just look cool and just be number one and all that great stuff. Nobody has time to just do that. And why do I say that? Why do I say that? Because we're living in a time frame now where more and more people are going to graduate from school, whether it's high school or college, and the average rent payment or mortgage payment in certain instances is going to be $2,000 and more. Whether you live in a major city in Texas, whether you live in New York or California. And nobody in this Lone Ranger thing, and when I say this, I'm saying this to everybody, because this whole, I'm doing it all by myself nonsense. I always say, look at the richest people in the United States of America or anywhere else in the Western world. The corporation in a sense operates as a gang, not meaning that they're killing people or selling drugs or anything of that nature, but the gang being a gang, or in a sense, I'll use them even more positive aspect. Corporations operate like a military, where they're operating as a strong, cohesive force, and they're getting specific things done in an efficient manner. They make mistakes, they do great things, but it's all encompassing, and they all look out for each other's best interests, and they get rid of the dead weight that is, in a sense, on the ship. They toss the dead weight overboard. You know what I mean? And I always say, like, for me, that's how I feel like people should operate within their friendships and their families. Doesn't always mean that somebody always has to do something for you, but there has to be a sort of, hey, in a sense, hey, I'm going to look out for you, look out for me. We're going to take care of each other, and that is the sense of that is the world that Chalky White lived in. Because if you even see his character on the show Boardwalk Empire, if you've never seen it, give it a shot. At least watch the first season, and you'll get the gist of what I'm really talking about in regards to his character. Because the first season was the best season for me, usually is, anyways. But anyways, so because of segregation during that time frame, because I believe the show started off in like 1918 or 1920 or 1923. It's been a minute since I've seen the show. I'm just going off of memory here, but I remember that Nucky Thompson, he worked in conjunction with Chalky White. Whether he liked black people or not, it was irrelevant. Nucky Thompson and Chalky White had a deal. It wasn't about liking each other. It was about getting business done. It's like when you go to a job, you don't have to specifically like, your boss and like your coworkers, but you got to respect each other in order for you guys to get the job and the mission done. A lot of people, regardless of age range, because I hate that whole you're old, you're too old to be acting like this. Well, a lot of people act like 5-year-olds and they could be 70 years old. Trust me, I've seen it in a big way. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, so people got to operate in an efficient manner and be able to work in conjunction with one another in order to get the job and the mission done. When the U.S. military, any military in the world, has to go into a country and get a mission done, it's not about liking each other. It's about being efficient and training and getting the job done, and then you go from there. Doesn't mean you're going to do it for the rest of your life. No. Sometimes you'll part ways. Sometimes you'll stay together. Some of the best friendships. Hey, like I was out with my buddy last night. Like, hey, sometimes we agree on things, sometimes we don't, and it's cool. But the difference is we respect each other, and that's why I said even people who have quote unquote wronged me or done me dirty in the past, I don't have anything bad to say to them because it's just a life lesson learned. You got to learn. You got to. We all have to learn how to not only get along with various other people, but we need to learn how to just forget and move on with each other's lives. Because my mindset is if you're not affecting my life right now or my life in the future, and if you're not getting in the way of my growth and my evolution as an adult in life, then you're good in my book. We ain't got to speak to each other every day. We ain't got to hang with each other. You ain't got to inbox you every day. I ain't got to text you. I ain't got to call you every day. Okay. It is what it is. All right. And you got to never speak. I don't have to ever speak to you ever again. That's just something to take into consideration. All right. But we're living now more and more in the times of Chalky White because of AI. It's not about just quote unquote racism that happens, but it is definitely about the chances of people's jobs being eliminated is going up and up and up every single day. And that's the conversation that's not going to take that's been happening for in smaller circles for a long time. Now the expansion of that conversation, that specific subject matter, is growing on a regular basis. But the question is, what are you going to do? And even to the parents, I always say to the parents in the room, what are you handing down outside of good memories? What value are you going to be bringing to the table outside of being a good parent? You're supposed to be a good parent. That's just a given. It doesn't need to be. I always say though, like we don't got to get in. That's just something you're supposed to do. It's like breathing air. It's like drinking water. What assets are you handing down? Are you ensuring that your children's going to be able to pass down any specific real estate, businesses, skill sets, things that because the school system, who cares about it? I mean, the school system is the school system. But outside of basic reading and basic math, I just got to call it like I see it. And basic writing, it doesn't really do any of us any justice or any good at this point. So I'm just going to keep it real in that aspect, but that's just me. But anyways, I'll leave it at that. But that's what's one thing to take into consideration in that aspect. And then it's like the opportunities of any of us, because you got to look at Chalky White's character like this. The opportunity of him being taken out was every second of every day. So that's why he had the right people around him, and he took care of people around him, and he was good, quote unquote, to the community, even though he had his quote unquote illegal ways about him. Great example. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was either season 2 or season 3 where Chalky was locked up in jail. And he was pretending that he was reading a book that his wife gave him, but you couldn't really read. And he was just staying to himself. And he had a cell to himself because of his name. But then the officers of the jail put him in the cell with the other black men because they couldn't, segregation. The jails had to be segregated at the time. We're talking about the early 1900s here in New Jersey, in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So anyways, long story short, there was one brother who was from Baltimore who had a slick mouth. And he kept talking trash and kept talking trash. And even when Chalky's wife came to visit him, he said, "Oh man, that's a pretty wife. I wish I could, be with her," and blah, 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 blah. And then he said, "Well, okay, if that's such a good book, why don't you read out of it?" And Chalky couldn't read. He's like, well, that says blah, 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 blah. He's like, "Oh, you lying." So then he ripped the page out of his book. And he said to all of the other gentlemen in the cell, "Hey man, how's your family doing? Hey, did you guys receive those turkeys? Hey, was I able to pay those bills for you? Hey, how's your business doing? I gave you that loan and forgive the debt and all that great stuff. And they said, appreciate it, sir. Thank you, Mr. White. Thank you, Chalky White. All that great stuff. And the guy from Baltimore was flabbergasted about the whole situation. And then he says, why don't you take care of this loudmouth for me? And all 6 or 7 of them beat the crap out of this dude to the point where he was unconscious. I'm saying that to say, like, I'm not condoning violence. So that's what I said. Don't get me wrong with what I'm saying. I'm not condoning violence, family. But what I am saying is that the fact that he looked out for people and never ever asked them really to do anything for him until he really truly needed them. And he built great relationships with people, regardless if it was in the criminal world or in the or it was in the regular world and whatnot. People looked out for him when he was in bad and sticky situations. Even between him and Nucky Thompson, they would look out for. They had that agreement, the contract, the verbal contract, you could call it. All right, and they looked out for each other. That is the thing I'm saying. The relationships you build mean a lot. It's not just the person you marry. It's not just the person you lay down with every night. It's not just the person you talk to every night. The relationships matter, and it's going to matter even more because. And look, I'm an introvert. I always say this, I'm an introvert. I'm a guy that loves to utilize technology. That's why majority of the communication I have with people, just like most people nowadays, is via my cell phone or a computer. But I will say with all sincerity is that the relationships the seeds that you're planting, and not only just with your money, but with other people, matters the most. People who looked out for me, I look out for people. And as the older I get, the shorter my circle gets, because it's not even about the value that people bring to me or the value that I bring to them, but people's actions always speak louder than their words, and usually the actions are null and void. And the pandemic made us see that much more. I think most of us can agree to that, and that's just me, keeping it real and being honest about the whole situation. But we all need to operate like a Chalky White. All right, meaning that we need to continuously build relationships, meaning that we can't just live for the day and die for tomorrow. We can't always have the YOLO mentality. Yes, enjoy life, but do it in a reasonable manner and look out for people that will always look out for you. And not even just that, do something good for somebody without expecting anything in return. A lot of times, because these are just simple principles to me that a lot of times people not only take for granted, but they just forget about on a regular basis. So it's something to just take into consideration, family. I really have to say that with all sincerity. It is something to take into consideration. All right. So that's why we have to start acting like, and that's just not just the Black community, that's every community. We have to put seeds away like tomorrow could be our last day. So we got to work hard and we got to play hard. I always say I've seen enough death within the last 2 years to say, hey, I'm going to work hard, but you better believe Larry's going to play hard. And if you're on the ship or not is irrelevant at this point in my life. I really cannot put it any other way. Okay. So before I get out of here, I wanted to cover another topic and go from there, because I love to just bring some, like I said, positive news, because if you want negative news, all you got to do is turn on Fox News and CNN. You get all the negativity in the world. All right. So these 2 young Black traders, stock market traders, who made $5 million within 1 year, are ready to give away $1 million to struggling families. Now, one thing I got to respect about these 2 individuals is that they are showing the world how to become better traders. 1, 2, more and more people are learning, like, hey, I don't want to just have a regular 9 to 5. A lot of these, especially the teenagers nowadays that are on TikTok and any other social media platform, and the ones specifically the teenagers that are seeing their parents struggle, they not only do not want to go through that, well, like most kids don't want to when they become adults, but they now live in a world where they see that having a 9 to 5 is not the only option. Having a 9 to 5 should be a start, but you shouldn't want to be, in their mind, I don't want to be in my 30s and 40s having a job. Is there anything wrong with having a job? No, I'm 40 years old. I still have a job. So I'm not knocking that. But I'm just trying to look through the lens of a young person nowadays, because we all have, no matter what age you are, we all can learn something new every day. We're not all Mr. Know-it-all. All right. The 2 gentlemen, one is 29, the other one is 32 years old. 29-year-old is Jehu Graham, and the 32-year-old is Francis Quay. 2 young African-American investors who are also founders of Cheat Code Algo. All right, it's a power it's a powerful software that uses a series of indicators to predict stock market trends during the first year in business. They generated $5 million in revenue, and now they are on a mission to give away $1 million in trading profits from their own trades to urban communities over the course of 2 years. Now, one, I commend them. Number two, in a sense, they're kind of outshining the politicians that always give people, whether the Democrats or Republicans, empty promises, because like I always say, and that's why I got to commend them, because when the money talks and everything else walks is one of the oldest statements in the world. But when you're having a conversation with an adult, and there's no, and especially supposed to be, and the crazy thing called business equal exchange conversation, don't just come to especially a grown man saying, hey, you do this for me and I'll promise to give you a good speech and take care of you later. That's an empty promise. It's like nobody's going to work unless they're getting paid, unless they just want to volunteer, and that's cool. That's what you do. That's fine. I don't work as far as the job goes unless I'm getting paid. Now, this stuff I do online, yeah, I make money every now and then, but this is just a passion of mine. So I enjoy it. Sometimes it's nice to just do something and not have to worry about getting rewarded or anything of that nature. As an adult, we get enough of that all at the same time. All right. But the fact that they're using their cheat code to invest more money into the communities, especially within specifically Black businesses, I can imagine these two individuals are going to help, because that's the main thing that shuts down a business is lack of access to capital. Business cannot expand and grow if it doesn't have capital. So I always say to a politician, I don't want to hear nothing unless I'm here getting some access to some money. I'll leave it at that. But anyways, Cheat Code Algo is a tool that gives beginner investors and seasoned traders all the information they need to know to get in on the action of the beautiful stock market. Members are provided with a library of material to help them make educated trading decisions. They have lived trading daily via Zoom in their community of over 17,000 traders with skills ranging from absolute beginners to advanced. To join the trading community, visit community.cheatcode.com if you're interested. If you want to, like I said, join community.cheatcode.com. Just recently, the two gentlemen partnered with Gilly the Kid, and this is how I learned about them and Wallow from $1 million worth of game, to start a challenge to raise money for families in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. By trading stocks, they made $20,000 in 30 days and gave it all away in cash to local single mothers and struggling families. And but that's just the beginning. Ultimately, they want to give away $1 million to more families in need all across the country. During the interview on the popular Earn Your Leisure podcast, another platform I saw them on, they comment, "We believe that trading is the key to empowerment for Black and brown communities because there is no discrimination in the trading market." And that is the key. That is the key. And that is the key. All right. And I commend more people to learn how to trade via professionals, because that is the key to being able, especially in the world that we live in, we're going to have to learn how to make money outside. Trading time for dollars is going to become a thing of the past in this country and in other Western nations. But people don't want to hear that. I'm just saying. Anyways, it says when it comes to trading, everyone has an equal opportunity to attend wealth as long as they master the skill set. All right. And on that note, I just wanted to leave it at that. Like I said, I'm not going to be on that long today, but it's just one thing to take into consideration. The rules of engagement in today's world in Western nations is an ever-changing thing. And I feel for the children in today's world, regardless of their race, regardless of where they come from, that still buy into the mindset that I only have to have a job and I get a college education and everything's going to work out. That is so, like I said, that is so passe. It's just that, and that's just one way to think. And I commend the people who are thinking outside the box and doing different things. And I just commend them. And they're not allowing society to jade them, especially they're not allowing society to crap all over their dreams, because that is probably one of the easiest things on the planet to do, is just allow people to walk all over your dreams. One thing I have to say with sincerity, it's just like drugs. Just say no. Don't allow people to do that, because that's probably one of the easiest things that any of us can do, is just allow people to crap on our dreams. And I've been a person that allowed people to do that, and I will not ever allow that anymore. And I commend anyone who doesn't allow anyone else to do that all at the same time. So that's just something else to take into consideration. But we are in new territory. Some say it's dark, some say it's gray, some say it's light, but we are definitely in new territory where the rules of engagement and making a living, raising a family, getting skill sets, If it's not, like I said, I always say, especially nowadays with college, if it's not in the medical field, engineering field, IT field, law, then why are you going to college? You know, I'm just going to keep it. I'm just going to keep it simple, keep it. Or if you want to be like, I mean, yeah, if you, therapists, hey, because people are like, what about psychology? Well, that's the medical field. Last time I checked, so that's just something to take into consideration. But we gotta start operating differently in today's world. And if you're watching, please do the great 3 free things, like, share, and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Because the thing is, because remember, when the mortgage man or the rent man come asking you questions and you say, I don't have the money, then you're going to get this situation right here.
And you ain't got no slip malt liquor. You ain't keeping it real. You ain't representing. What you doing up in here, boy? Shit.
You know, and that's just the thing. You know, a lot of times people, you know, and I'm just being a little corny and funny with it, but at the end of the day, they're going to be like, if you ain't got my money, forget you pay me. If not, you're going to have to go. A lot of, especially during the pandemic, during the lockdown, where people could not, quote unquote, legally evict anyone, those days are becoming a thing of the past. You know, so I mean, the eviction mandatory moratorium is over with. Could come back. You never know if there's another pandemic or another lockdown, but it's just something. Like I said, the rules of engagement are different. And another thing is with Chalky White, he got one of the biggest problems is he got comfortable, and when he had an adversary, his adversary not only was unfortunately book more smarter than him because he was more book smart, but his adversary was able to adapt in multiple and different situations. So that's why I always say the comfort zone is a death sentence regardless of your situation. I mean, Michael B. Jordan's a great example. Just to keep talking about something that's recent. He didn't have to direct the movie Creed 3, but he wanted to do something different. He got out of his comfort zone. He's been in the entertainment business for over 10 years now. I think 15, maybe even 20 years now. So he's earned the right. And if you haven't seen Creed 3, see it. Great freaking movie. It was, like I said, it was great to see, you know, a regular movie with no superhero nonsense. So I got nothing but love and respect for it. But you know, he was able to think outside of the box, and not even just think outside of the box and live outside of the box, but he's taking chances and multiple things. And because he could just keep acting and whatnot, but he took a chance and he invested in himself. He as might bet up. I need to encourage everybody to always bet on themselves, not just have a job and pay bills and die. You know, that is the easy route. I commend people that don't just do that. You know, I really do. I really do, because the world that we live in now is a different world. But anyways, on that note, like I said, do the great 3 free things, like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Don't forget to check out my online store. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for the Cash Apps. Thank you for the PayPals, all that great stuff. And, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. The Venmos, all the contributions, I put it back into the channel. And thank you for the new subscribers. And thank you for those who have watched the programming. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, going to be getting a panel together eventually. And we're going to get deep talking about relationships, what women want, what men really want, as far as today's standard, today's mindset, you know, because right now, it's, like I said, it's a different world. So we have to look at things differently. You know, we really do. So that's all I can say about that. But let me check on something. But anyways, have a great day. I thought I had something going on here, but I don't. So anyways, have a day. I'll see you guys next time, and, you know, we'll definitely go from there. All right, take care.
Like now.